I always find that the hardest part of a narration is the intro, just because I never know what to really say and I just make stuff up as I go along. I don't know if some other people are like that. Maybe the narration is the harder part for y'all, or maybe the ending or something. But for me, it's always the intro, just because I never know what to really say, like right now. Anyways, it is currently Friday when I'm narrating this, and it should be Friday in my time when it goes up. Hopefully everybody had a good week. Hopefully y'all do have a good weekend as well. And I'm using this really fun UU team based around Choice Bandit Victini, Ferroseed, SD Mew, and Specs Kingdra. Then I just threw in Blastoise and Gligar. But looking at threats on my opponent's side of the field, that Chandelure and that Shaman are easily the two biggest threats I'm going to have to watch out for, because I really have no safe switch into them. Anyways, he lit off with the Shaman, and I'm going to go straight for the U-turn, because obviously I'm not going to go for a V-Crate because he has Chandelure, Snorlax, and Swampert, so I knew that U-turn was the better play that I could go for. As I U-turn out the Chandelure into my Blastoise, I want to bait him to either switch out into the Shaman or go for an Energy Ball, and luckily I do bait him out as he goes for the Energy Ball, which means next turn, knowing that he is going to want to switch out, I'm freely going to be able to go for a Toxic if he does want to bring in the Shaman, and if he does bring in Shaman, that'll automatically tell me he has Hidden Power Fire. But he actually switches into the Swampert, which is perfectly fine by me, because now I'm going to be able to really wear down the Swampert with the Toxic, as he's going to get up his rocks, I'm going to get up Layer Spikes. Now yes, he does have the Hitmontop, but in my mind, what I wanted to do was Toxic the Hitmontop, and then be able to wear it down. That way, once Hitmontop is gone, I can get up my hazards with my Gligar and my Ferroseed, and then not really have to worry about him spinning them away, getting all that residual damage on his team, allowing my Kingdra or my Mew to sweep through his team. But yeah, anyways, he went for the Earthquake as I went for a Toxic, just scouting out to see what I wanted to do. I thought he would actually switch out into the Hitmontop, but that isn't the case. And knowing that this turn he is going to want to switch out, and knowing that he's not going to bring in the Shaman unless he does have the Hidden Power Fire, I'm actually going to go for the Leech Seed, as he makes a really offensive switch into the Chandelure. So what I'm going to do is actually go for the Protect, as he ends up making a bit of an over prediction by going for the Shadow Ball. But thanks to the Protect, I'm able to see what he did want to go for, and even though he did get the Spadef drop, Ferroseed still has a decently good amount of special defense, so I'm really not too worried. I'm really not too worried about him going for a Shadow Ball, and I'm going to be able to go for the Toxic as he actually switches it into the Hitmontop, which is really good for me, because now my plan to wear down the Hitmontop is going to happen. But for some reason, I don't go for the Protect. I don't know why, and then I switch directly into my Blastoise. What I should have done was gone for the Protect, then switched in the Blastoise, but yeah, for some reason I didn't do that, and in the long run of the battle, it really doesn't end up mattering too much, as I'm just going to take this opportunity to spin away his own rocks, knowing that he's not going to want to switch in a Chandelure on the Blastoise. As he goes to the Toxic, he ends up missing, and in the long run of the battle, I don't think the miss actually ends up mattering at all. I mean, you guys can be the judge of it, but this turn, knowing that he would want to switch out, what I'm going to do is actually switch into my Gligar. Unfortunately for me though, he switches into the damn Shaman, and obviously I do not want to take a Seed Flare to the face, because even with the Eviolite, Gligar's special defense really isn't all that great. But he makes a very good play, knowing that I would switch into either my Victini or my Ferroseed is going to go for the Earth Power, and the fact that he switched out right here automatically told me he does not have the Hidden Power Fire, as I make a really risky play in not going for the Protect, but going for a Layer Spike. So yeah, that was another dumb play on my part. Even though it did work out for me, I still should have protected the Scout out to see if he did have the Hidden Power Fire on Shaman. Even though yes, he does have the Chandelure, still Hidden Power Fire on Shaman does have its benefits. But in the end, as you saw there, it did work out for me. So I protect the Scout to see what it wants to do. As this turn, I know that he's not going to go straight for a close combat, and more than likely it's just going to Rapid Spin, allowing me to get a free switch into my Kingdra. Now, the reason why I brought in my Kingdra is because what I want to do is bait him to bring out the Snorlax. That way, I can double switch back out into my Ferroseed and possibly even Leech Seed the Snorlax, again, knowing that he's not going to bring in Shaman because it does not have Hidden Power Fire. That means I can get a Leech Seed off on something on his team, but he actually decides to stay in and goes for the Earthquake, which normally Snorlax don't carry Earthquake, but he more than likely has it for Chandelure, which Spec Chandelure in UU is one of the biggest threats out there, so it's not that uncommon for Snorlax to run Earthquake, so I'm not going to judge him on that for it. As this turn, I'm just going to go for Layer Spikes as he brings into Hitmontop, and at this point, my plan to wear down this Hitmontop is just falling in perfectly, because as you see there, it's already below half HP, and now I'm going to go for a Protect as he goes for the Rapid Spin, which is perfectly fine by me. I'm not really too worried about that. in this turn, because last time he went for the rapid spin, I know that this turn he's actually going to go for the close combat, allow me to bring in my Gligar. In hindsight, maybe I should have brought in my Mew, but then again, most Hitmontops do carry Sucker Punch, so that also could have been a bit risky, so I guess Gligar in the end wasn't my safest switch-in, so I'm really not too worried about it. As this turn, I'm expecting him to want to bring in the Shaman, so what I'm going to do is actually go for the Toxic. Now yes, Shaman does have Natural Cure, but still the fact that I could get the Toxic off on Shaman and be able to wear it down would be really beneficial to me, but he does make a good play by bringing in the Swampert. Now, I don't want to take an Ice Beam, an Ice Punch, or a Scald, or a Waterfall for that matter, so I'm just going to switch right into my Blastoise as he makes a double switch into a Chandelure. I guess I don't really know what he was expecting, but he does have the Energy Ball, and at full HP, I am pretty damn positive I can live a Energy Ball, so I'm going to stay in as he actually over-predicts, goes for the Hidden Power Fighting, and that allows me to knock him out with the Scald, which is really great because Chandelure, one of the biggest threats, is out of the way, and as long as I have my Ferroseed, I can kind of keep that Shaman in check. But he's going to bring in the Raikou. Now obviously I don't want to take a Volt Switch or a possible Thunderbolt, and the switch in the Gligar is a little bit obvious, so I'm expecting him to either go for an Aura Sphere or just a safe Hidden Power Ice as I switch into my Mew. And I actually thought I had leftovers on this Mew, which is why I switched it in on the Raikou, but that isn't the case. As he goes for the Aura Sphere, judging for that damage, I'm pretty positive that he's Scarfed, because normally Rash Raikou that carry Aura Sphere are Scarfed just because they are forced to have a rash nature. So he's actually going to bring in his Snorlax on my SD, and at this point in the battle, I know that my Mew can just basically plow through his team. So I'm able to easily one-shot the Snorlax, which I was actually really surprised about. And then he's going to bring in the Shaman, and I know I can live one Seed Flare, so what I'm going to do is go for the Sucker Punch, then the Drain Punch, but he actually ends up running, and I don't really know why, because he still had Swampert, so maybe he didn't have Roar on Swampert. And I'm not gonna lie, the fact that he ran actually did make me a little bit mad, because he still could have had a chance to win the battle, but unfortunately we're not gonna find out if he could have won, because as you saw there, he ran. In the end, I still thought this was a really fun battle, and I really did not want this battle to go to waste, because all the plays leading up to my Mew Swords Dancing were pretty good in my opinion. I mean, my opponent knew what he was doing. Unfortunately for him, he gave me the free opportunity to set up a Swords Dance, and I was just able to take advantage of that. In the end, he knew that he could have possibly been swept. So yeah, he just ended up running, just saving him and me some time. But hopefully y'all did enjoy this pretty quick Yu-Gi battle. If you did, make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to some more content. Enjoy the rest of your night, enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, with that guys, I am out of here. Later.